dear friends, and welcome to Life of Love. I'm so happy you joined us again today, and I'm super excited to introduce my friend Jennifer Seven. I got to know her as a guest on her podcast, and we had such a blast that she is a guest on my podcast, and she wanted to connect with all my listeners. So I'm super blessed and humbled and honored to have Jennifer Seven as our guest today. She's been over 15 years experience in the health and wellness and spiritual industry. She is an entrepreneur. She's certified in teaching meditation, holistic nutrition. She just gets the whole scheme of everything. So she's going to share more about her and her journey, a little bit about her story. But just so happy to welcome you here today, Jennifer. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you, Julie. I'm super excited to be here. It's so fun to chat with you.
Yes, we had such a blast, and at our
we did.
And even today, we just, we got tingles, we got chills talking about, the pre-meeting and our plan. We're very excited to share some messages with you guys. So stick around. We have some great content for you. Jennifer, just real quick, give my listeners an idea of where you've been and just a little information about your journey. And you have your own podcast about inspirational stories. It's Unbreakable Spirit.
Unbreakable Spirit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's such an inspiration. I just want you to just give my audience a little idea about what you're about.
Okay. So I have been in the health and wellness field for many years. As you said, I guess it's been well over 15 now. Started out kind of in corporate wellness and then really wanted to work with people more on an individual level. And I find that I just really resonate with helping women in particular on their journeys of weight loss and wellness. And gosh, along the way, I got as I mentioned, my holistic nutritionist certification, which was really exciting and taught me so much about the power of food and how we can use food as medicine rather than having to use medicines. And not that I have anything against medical products and science, but sometimes these medications that we take just mask the problem, or they treat the symptom. That's what I should say. They treat the symptom, not the underlying cause. And if we can go a little deeper and work with food and other issues that may be going on, then, perhaps we wouldn't need as much medication. But I love helping people. I love seeing them get their lives back if they aren't able to do what they love. I think it's really important to tap into why you would want to lose weight. There's so many people that want to lose weight, but understanding why is, I think, super, super important, because weight loss, as we know, is not easy. It is definitely a journey, and oh gosh, there's so much tempting food all the time, but understanding why, and your why could be because you're on medication or because you've been given a diagnosis. And so the doctor says, if you lose some weight, that might help. So that could be a very significant and important reason, would be medical. But it could be that you want to travel, that you want to be able to be more active, that you want to be able to play on the floor with your kids. I had one woman who wanted to go on a trip, and she finally went, and she wanted to zip line, and she weighed too much, so she couldn't do that. So after she lost the weight, she was ecstatic. This was something that she didn't see as achievable for her. So she was able to do that. And another client had booked a trip to go to Machu Picchu, but she's like, I have to get in shape. I have to lose weight, and I have to hike so I can be strong to go on this trip. And she accomplished that. And it gives me such joy to see my clients achieve their dreams. And we do it together, on this journey, because it isn't easy.
I love it. It's empowering. Yeah. Well, I can tell that you're committed. And, it's just like you said, what's driving you. And then if you're having moments of weakness, you can return to that centering force, that why. Mm-hmm. When you were talking, it reminded me of a quote that I read today, and I just feel compelled to share it because, sometimes you want to be your healthiest self, to show up for your loved ones, to be the best mom, mm-hmm. to enjoy your life. And I was just like, oh, this is so cool. So this is a Tao Zhu quote. It says, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage.
That's beautiful.
And so it's courage. I know, right? And it's just courage to live your best life, to show up and to, just to be present for those around you because you deeply love them. And,
yes.
And then you get strength when...
Yes. And that actually makes me think of, as I've done so much coaching over the years, that one of the things that makes me so sad is, and I think women tend to do this more than men, but removing yourself from the family photo or hiding behind others because you don't want your body to be seen in the picture because you don't like your body. And I always thought that was just so sad that you're removing yourself from that special memory. And so it gives me great joy when women get to the point where they're like, I'm back in the picture and I feel good about myself and I love myself. And that just always struck me as something that was just sad to not feel loved enough that you could be in the picture, or that you could love yourself enough no matter what your body looked like. So,
and that critical, we're so critical of ourselves.
Yeah, super
There's
critical.
So many, if people understood that others they just love the way you make them feel. It's not how you look. It's you're giving your compassionate soul that they see. It's not that I call it the meat suit, it's our physical body, but our spirit lives in there, and there's no reason to be critical of it.
Yeah.
Just think about your grandmother. I used to adore playing with the back of her arm. She had the sweetest little old lady arms. And those are my fondest memories of sitting with her reading a book and just feeling the back of her lovely arm. Aww. And some people be like, oh my God, I have flabby arms. But to me, that was the most beautiful, feminine, divine feminine, that she was just this nurturing,
that's
sweet
beautiful.
being,
Yeah. And I think if we can learn to love ourselves, this was a quote from Dr. Tran, who was the founder and creator of the protocol that I offer, the weight loss protocol. And he said that it's not about losing the weight in order to love yourself. It's loving yourself enough to lose the weight, to be healthy. Because that's what it's really all about, is we need to be healthy so that we can live our best lives. But that really struck me because so often we're like, well, I'll like myself once I like how I look in the mirror better. But if we can find a way to love ourselves now, and going on a weight loss journey does require sacrifice. And who do we sacrifice for? We sacrifice for those we love. Because the sacrifice means you're giving up something. So when you go on this weight loss journey, yes, there are going to be things you have to give up, but you're sacrificing, but for you. So loving you enough to make that sacrifice. So kind of reframing how you approach things. But yeah, it's about love. It really is. Yeah. When we're feeling negative and about ourselves, then, we tend to not take care of ourselves as well.
And it's not a mechanical thing. It's a being thing. I think our society likes to break things up into these steps and these mechanics, but it's so much more. It's coming from our heart and our willingness to show up as our best.
It is so much more. And that's because there is what we call emotional eating, and it's very real. I do it. I think everybody does it. Like when you're feeling really down in the dumps, what do you want to do? You want to comfort yourself with something that tastes good, that feels good. Unfortunately, it only lasts for a moment. Or on the flip side, sometimes when we feel really good about something, we reward ourselves with food. So it's complicated, and our society is all about food. Isn't it? Oh, let's go out to eat and celebrate, or you go at the holidays, you go to your family and your mom or whoever is going to prepare this amazing meal, and they do it out of love. And it may not always be the food that serves you the best, because it might be high in carbohydrates or something, but it's coming from a place of love. So food is very much about love.
Yes, and this is timely because we're recording right after Thanksgiving, but this is going to air after the New Year, and so I'm sure there's people with New Year's resolutions, and this is always a time when we strike a new year. 365 days have gone by, and we decide, okay, this is the year. I'm going to set all these goals, and So we were talking about how, think of your life as a masterpiece. So before you start any project, you need clarity. You need a clear space to create, because you're going to create this best year, your best self. So we were going to explore that idea of creating a blank canvas, if it's a painting, or, clearing your space if you want to look at it as a sculpture, whatever creation you have, whatever symbolism you want to have about your new year and your goals. We want to talk about, just clear out the old, clean out the closets. And I talk about this in my book too.
That's really powerful.
So so how do you, when you're coaching somebody, how do you help them create a blank slate to set their goals on, to prepare their goals?
Yeah, well, I'm a real fan of creating a vision board. And for those of you that may not know what a vision board is, it's lots of fun. It's a really fun activity, but you can literally just get yourself a poster board or white canvas board, or you can even do it on your computer, do a digital vision board. And it's exactly what Julie just said. It's like you're starting with a blank space, and then you're going to put on that board what it is that you really want. And you can divide it up into categories. You can have your health part of the board. You can have your relationship part of the board. You can have your abundance and money part of the board, travel, whatever it is that you want. And it doesn't have to be something that has to happen right away. You're really planting seeds by creating a vision board of what you want, and then in a way, you're releasing it over into the universe, and so that it will come to you in time, because you have put out there what you want. And then what we want you to do is look at it frequently, hang it somewhere where you can see it, and then look at it, maybe look at it first thing in the morning, or look at it just before you go to bed, because what you're doing is you're putting those thoughts of what you want into your subconscious so you can let it percolate. And then don't stress about it. It will come to you in the timing that it's meant to come to you. But it gives you a direction, and it may just remind you enough. Maybe it's you in a particular outfit that you want to be in, a particular pair of jeans. And actually, you could get the jeans out and just hang them on the back of the door without creating a board. But if there's an outfit, I always say, put that outfit out where you can see it. And then just let it percolate, let it simmer, but then it's top of mind, and then you'll just kind of be directed subconsciously toward the things that are going to move you toward those desires that you have. Would you agree with that, Julie?
Jennifer, that resonates with me so very much, and it's so fun, the synchronicities, because I've been doing a wormhole deep dive into neutrinos and little pockets of energy that are all around us, and how we can create, and our thoughts actually activate these little tiny pieces of energy. We can't see them, but our thoughts are energy, and energy creates matter. So coming back to your vision board and just thinking with an open heart, those things and why they mean so much to you from your heart space, not in your head of how you're going to get there in the steps. It's not a step-by-step A, B, C, D. It's like, right. I'm in my heart, and these are my desires. These are my intentions. And you're thinking about them from an energetic space of your heart. You can activate your thoughts, actually activate something in the cosmos. And this is being, Einstein talked about that, there's no action without a reaction. There's no loss of energy. Everything's working off each other. And I think we forget how powerful our thoughts are. because we're so in the 3D, and we have solid things around us that are already formed, they're already materialized. We also have power in the things that we can't touch, and that's God. That's God energy. So that's so powerful to me, that vision board, and that bringing your intention to a material state, so you can go back and forth and you can draw on the physical, but then access your neutrinos. Yay!
Oh, I love that. And so just to give you a little bit more on the logistics of a vision board, I always like to recommend that you put yourself in the middle.
Okay.
You are the center of this little universe which you're creating on your vision board. And you can write positive affirmations on it, like, I am healthy, or I am abundant, whatever words, powerful words that you want to sprinkle in there. It could be athletic, it could be happy, it could be joy. Maybe you want joy in your life. And what brings you joy? What's going to bring you joy? Visiting your kids if they're living somewhere else. Just so many things. For me, being out in nature was super important. And I did for myself, and I need to do a new one since we're coming up on the new year. I had my big vision board, and then I did sub ones. I did, okay, I'm going to just work on the health one. And what does health look like to me? And I'm like, okay, well, I like doing yoga. I like playing tennis. I want to eat more vegetables, drink more smoothies. So I created a little health vision board, and you could do that as well for each of your topics. And, it's so interesting what you were just saying about thought, because I'm actually taking this course, and it's a course on visualization. And if you don't mind, I'd love to share.
Oh, please.
There were 3, and this is Dr. Stephanie Remka had put together this course that I'm taking, and she shared these to practice journaling this every day, because, again, journaling helps implant things into your subconscious. So when you can write what you want, it's very powerful. And then you want to find the emotion behind it. But here's three things that she shared. And it's about thought. So number 1, thought is the only power that creates tangible rewards. Which is a very interesting thing to think about. But thought is the only power that creates tangible, meaning physical, rewards. Number 2, I can form things in my mind with my thoughts. So you can create anything in your mind. It's in your mind. You can think about anything. You can visualize anything in your mind. So we know we can create things in our mind. But then number 3 is by impressing my thoughts upon the field, which could be upon the consciousness, upon the universe, upon God, upon whatever you want to call it. I can cause the things I think to be created by the field. And I just was like, wow, okay, that is so cool. So what this tells me is we need to watch our thoughts.
Yes, that's what I'm talking
because
about.
Because if we're negative.
Yes, because you have to be responsible for your negativity, because you're just not being negative yourself, that you're projecting that onto the field. And it's, yes, a million yeses.
And what you think about is what you will create. So that's a wake-up call, because we can all find ourselves going down that rabbit hole of negativity. And so we have to realize, oh, wait, I don't want to make this come into my life. So let's flip that around. And I think we might have talked about this a little bit, Julie, when we talked before. One of the best and easiest ways to reprogram your thoughts is to focus on gratitude. So focusing on gratitude, what am I grateful for? And, I know if you're in depression, it can be really, really difficult and challenging. But if you can start your day off with writing down 3 things that you're grateful for every morning or evening or both, you will find that you will start to have a shift. And I went through this myself because I had gone through some really tough times with divorce and bankruptcy and a lot of, and I was in a really negative place. And a mentor shared that with me. She says, okay, get a journal, and I want you to fill it up, the entire journal. And you don't have to do it one day, but fill it up with the statements of gratitude. And I was really down and hurting. And I was sitting there looking at her like, you've got to be kidding me. This is how I'm going to change my life. I did not believe it. But I was also at a point where I was just going to, okay, whatever. I'm going to try anything and everything someone tells me, because I just want to feel better. And so even starting with something as simple as I have a roof over my head. I have a bed to sleep in. I have a car to drive. Those things that's a lot to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not feel like it because you may be feeling like you don't have so much else, but that is a very beautiful thing to have. I mean, if we think about the war in Ukraine and people losing their entire homes. Mm-hmm. So let's focus on that, and that will expand. Your gratitude will expand. It really, really will. It will shift, and you will go from, well, I only have 3 things to, okay, the sun was shining this morning. Yay. It'll grow. It'll grow, and it'll grow, and it'll grow. And then you'll start to see things in your life that you're happy to see in your life, and you're grateful for them, and you recognize them, which before nothing was good. Everything was miserable. So it's a great way to shift.
I know. And it's interesting, like people in fighting cancer. I mean, I have a friend who's struggling, and his gratitude is off the charts. He's just like, I'm breathing today. I have great nurses that help me. And, it's, if you can look at some other people's stories, like your podcast, Unbreakable Spirit, if you can get to that, even if it's like, okay, I have 2 hands. There are people who have to write with their feet because they don't have usable hands. I have water. I can turn on the faucet and get water. There are people in Africa who don't have clean water. And your favorite tree is still standing. It didn't get blown over by a storm. A hurricane just went through Florida, right? There's storm surges and, so not that you want to watch the news to have gratitude, but, just be present and just look around you, because I bet you could come up with 1,000 things you're grateful for. But like you said, if you could start with 3, just 3. Number 1, I'm breathing.
Just 3.
I'm breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to put
morning,
this thought together. I have a voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
And I have this body that carries me around. And, well, that's a whole other subject I could spend a lot of time talking about, is being grateful for our bodies, because when we are carrying excess weight, or we don't like ourselves, or we don't like our bodies, that's a shift that I think it's really important to change. And I kind of went through this myself about 7 or 8 years ago. I grew up in a household where food and your body were just very disconnected. And we weren't really aware that what we were putting in our mouths was really supposed to be good for us, and, to have that connection of food and body. So I had to work on that. And I spent a lot of time sharing gratitude with my body. And I think when I did it, I think I cried and cried and cried, because I was like, wow, my body really does a lot for me. So if you think about it, we have teeth that allow us to chew our food. We have a tongue that allows us to taste our food. We have this heart that beats for us. We never have to think about our heart beating. It beats for us day in and day out. And it's a miracle. And our stomachs that digest the food, our legs that carry us, our hands, as you were saying, our hands, our arms, our bodies are amazing. And we don't normally have to think about it too much. So if we can take care of our bodies, feed our bodies what they need, our body knows what it needs. And so if we can kind of slow down and start paying attention to it, maybe doing some breath work, some meditation, our bodies will guide us to making better choices. So it's been proven, scientific studies, that those that meditate, they will see reductions in blood pressure, and a lot of changes can occur by following a practice like that. So that's another way to start shifting your mindset and your body. But our bodies are pretty amazing, really.
Truly, they really are. And I'm glad you said that, because that was my next question. Have you ever used your dream board as a platform for your meditation intention? Would you recommend that, because a lot of times I'll go to meditate and I'll be like, well, what's my intention? Well, I always want to meditate for love in the world, and I always want to meditate for peace. And I'm always like sending out heart energy for the world, because that's just how I start my meditation. And, but sometimes I'm like, well, what is my clear intention? And have you ever done that, where you recommend people meditate on their vision board?
I haven't, but I think that's a fantastic idea. And I love the idea of having an intention. So I was trained in meditation by Deepak Chopra, and he does, it's called primordial sound meditation. So basically what he did is he gives us a mantra, and we go into meditation and we just repeat the mantra inside our minds over and over and over again. And it's a mantra that is not an English word. So it's not words that you necessarily have to understand. It's a sound vibration. And the intention of it is if we can bring our mind back to the mantra, then we're not,
the monkey mind is quiet. If you're
the monkey mind,
yeah,
right?
Gotcha.
Yes. So, and that the point of it is that there's this silence in between your thoughts, and that's where we want to dip into to get what our soul wants to share with us and tell us. And so, toward the end of the meditation, he would direct us to play. It was like throwing a pebble in the pond, and those really were our intentions, that we would just kind of toss them into the pond and let them ripple out and then just let them go. So those could certainly be your intentions from your vision board. That's a great idea. So kind of trying to be in the silence, but then drop those pebbles in and just let them ripple out there, and they will come back to you.
I love that. So you could. So
it's just there's a lot of different ways to meditate. That's one of them.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, as you said with the podcast Unbreakable Spirit came out of this book that I was a co-author in called Unbreakable Spirit, and it was co-authored with a number of women who each felt that, we all felt that we had a story to tell, and the story is of hardships and very difficult things, but that we managed to overcome them, hence the unbreakable spirit. And I loved that so much. And at the time, I had my story to tell, and I just needed to tell it. So I told it in the book. And then about a year and a half ago, it's been on my mind for a while, but I finally started at the beginning of 2022 to start a podcast with the stories of unbreakable spirit. And they're stories of women who've gone through things and come through the other side. And it's amazing, the stories that I've heard and the strength and courage and just unbreakable spirits that are out there. And I wanted to make sure these stories were shared because I know, and I there's listeners out there that may be going through some really difficult, tough stuff. And I wanted the stories to be of hope that, yes, you can get through this. Yes, you can thrive. And I know it hurts and I know it sucks and it's awful, but don't give up. Don't give up because, what do they say? The miracle is right around the corner. You will get there. You can get there. So it's yeah. And I just, the women that I've met, oh my gosh, makes my story like nothing. It's like this one woman shared her story of being horrifically burned when she was 4 years old and going through life, as a burn victim, severely disfigured, and what that was like. And another, you mentioned your friend who had cancer, and a young woman, young, she's in her 50s, personal trainer, couldn't be she's so healthy, and she got brain cancer, the glioblastoma.
Oh,
I think I'm saying that right.
That's aggressively,
which is incurable.
Yeah,
and we did a podcast, and her spirit and her attitude of gratitude and her ability to get up every day and go walk, and she said, I see hawks, and that's like almost like her spirit animal, on these walks, and doing amazingly well, all things considered. But when you hear these stories, you're just like, okay, life isn't so bad.
Right. And then I encourage people, if you're not going through anything really bad, don't have guilt or shame that you're unhappy.
Oh, no.
Because it could be a past life that's sneaking in. Maybe you had one of those horrific stories in a past life and you're still getting over it as a soul being. So don't have guilt or shame if you don't have something that's like you can put your finger on and say, this is why I feel messed up. There's a lot of people who are just lost, and you can't say, well, I was beaten as a child, or there's so have compassion for yourself. If you feel off track and you really don't know why, that's okay too. Embrace yourself.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, Julie, because I do think with COVID and the seclusion, a lot of people have felt the feeling of being very alone. Jobs are different. The economy is different. Now we've got this war on the other side of the world, and it's just a very highly compressed time. I think energetically, it's very heavy, intense energy. So you may not even be aware, but that could be affecting you. And you could be carrying ancestral trauma. There is that too, that you carrying it along from your parents that you don't even realize.
Yeah, what's that called? Epigenetics? Isn't that, Jennifer? Epigenetics, when your DNA carries trauma.
And it's a real thing.
It is. It's a real thing. There's a 3 epigenetics. That's a 5-syllable word to prove it. So I like to take it.
Say that 5 times fast.
I know.
Okay?
I use my fingers. You can't see me, but I use my fingers to count the syllables like I was in 2nd grade. You can take that angst and those feelings and just shoot them off. They ask them to be removed from your field it no longer serves you. It's really important to reset energetically like that. And that keeps coming up.
And in weight loss, that's really, I think, plays a huge part in weight loss, because when we don't like how we look, we feel shame, resentment, anger, frustration. That's all these negative emotions that we begin to believe about ourselves or feel about ourselves. And it's really hard to lose weight when we're feeling all those feelings. So I try to tell my clients, we need to forgive yourself. Because what will happen is someone will come in and they're oftentimes they've tried every diet under the sun, and maybe they've lost the weight, then gained it back, gained it back. So by the time they come in to see me, they're like, I don't know, very guarded. Here's just one more thing. Do I try it? I don't want to tell anybody because my family's seen me do this 100 times. They're going to go, oh, there she goes again. There's so much humiliation, shame when they come in. And first thing I say is, well, first off, we're going to leave all that at the door. We don't have that here. And, you're doing the best you can. I believe everybody intrinsically does the best they can. Everybody's trying to do the best they can. So maybe you had, and I don't like these words either, because I hear my clients say, I was really bad. I ate blah, blah, blah. Or I was really good. I didn't eat blah, blah, blah. So already there's saying good or bad. And I'm like, you're not bad because you ate that. That doesn't make you bad. Perhaps it was a poor choice, but we say that to ourselves all the time. So I think trying to take that word out and to forgive yourself if you mess up or you go off plan. And I try to teach a lot of mindfulness in my weight loss coaching as well. So you blow it on the weekend. It was Thanksgiving weekend. You had good intentions and it went sideways. It happens to a lot of us. The next day, don't beat yourself up. The next day, just say, okay, it's a new day. It's a fresh day. I'm just going to get back on track. And the past is the past, because you can't change it. You cannot change the past. It is over. It is done. And there's no point in berating yourself or fixating on it. And the other point is the future's not here yet. So let's not be worrying so much about the future. Just trying to come right back to where are you right now. Let's just go right now. And I had one client say to me, she goes, you know what? I have an every 2-hour rule. She just tries to get through 2 hours at a time. 2 hours at a time. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I thought that was super smart.
Break it up into, I talk about that in my book. Is it's a positive, negative, or neutral food. And you can, when you're present with that food and you feel how it is affecting your body, you can decide, well, that was negative because it made my face break out or my cheeks got red. That 2 glasses of wine gave me a headache in the middle of the night. So that's negative. So when you want to nurture yourself, you're going to choose neutral or positive foods that support you. And, it's interesting. I was looking at research on even sexual function, and sexual function is related to blood flow, believe it or not. And if you're eating good, clean vegetables and meats that have been raised and processed responsibly, your body responds differently with more blood flow, which leads to better results in the bedroom.
Yeah,
so that's sort of fun.
Yeah, better sexual health.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and also you can, when you're eating foods that don't serve you, you can get depressed. Your mood can go down. And then, of course, you're not going to feel sexual or sexy. And that's another great why. Why do you want to lose weight? Maybe I want to feel sexy in the bedroom again. Maybe I want to be able to put on some cute lingerie, or maybe I want to feel attractive naked. You know, how many of us are like, lights out,
right?
Covers over.
Put that little teddy on, and, you know, like so many couples want to fantasize. It's like, well, I was reading today, it's, you know, you fall in love and then you have sex, and then you feed sex with ritual. So if you can bring ritual into the bedroom of, you know, like making it this special time, adding spice as far as, you know, your fantasies and being open to each other, that feeds, it's like a vortex of more love. It's love, sex, ritual, spice, you know, you just keep the energy flowing. And that really resonated with me. I just read that in a book this morning. I'm like, oh, and it's impressive that I remembered it because I'm sleep deprived. So I know if I'm remembering something, then it's really
it must have been good, right?
Yeah.
Well, and two, I think when you're eating well, your body just feels so much better, and you're going to sleep better. You're going to have more energy. And I mean, how many times has it been like, oh God, I'm so stuffed. I feel gross. I feel bloated.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all you want to do is go to bed, and then you can't sleep, and then you're up at 3 a.m. and that all can put a real kibosh on the sex life. It's like feeling like that is like, blah. But wouldn't it be nice just to feel better? And you could take small steps. That's the other thing. It can be very daunting if you're contemplating change to lose weight, and you know, especially if you have a lot. Even though if you have a lot to lose, it can be daunting, and even if you have a little to lose, I think it can be daunting, because even just 10 pounds, it can be the hardest 10 pounds ever if it's only 10 pounds. But small steps. And there's a lot of great tips out there. Just increasing your water, increasing your movement. You know, if you were walking once a week, walk 3 times a week. Try to drink more water. Try to cut back on soda or caffeine. And caffeine's going to affect your sleep. So sometimes you have to start with sleep, because if you're not sleeping, everything else is messed up, and sleep is super important. What do they say now? 7 to 9 hours an adult should be getting. I think at least a good 7, but it needs to be good quality sleep. And so many people struggle with sleep. So there's a whole sleep routine you can come up with. You know, dark rooms, get the electronics out, the blue lights out. Don't watch TV an hour before bed. Don't drink caffeine after, I would suggest, maybe noon. Depends on how sensitive you are. Wine at night can mess you up in the middle of the night. Eating a big meal before you go to bed. I try to tell people, don't eat after 8. Just try not to eat after 8 p.m. That'll help. And try not to load up on carbs. Actually, don't load up on carbs in the middle of the day, because the energy you get from carbs comes about 12 hours later. So if you eat a big carb meal at lunch, guess what? It's waking you up in the middle of the night. Because you know how cross-country runners, they carb load at night because they're up early and they're running, so that they get that energy from it. So there's just lots of little things you can do. Park your car farther away from the store. Instead of getting the closest spot, park farther away, and that makes you walk a little bit more. You know, be grateful for that parking lot you didn't get up close, or that parking space that wasn't close to the door. Say, oh, that's okay. I must be meant to walk today. You know, take the stairs instead of the elevator. Just lots and lots of little things you can do that can make a difference. Certainly, I believe that nutrition is extremely important in weight loss. Exercise is important, but you can be exercising like crazy and not make a change in your fat, because it just takes so much exercise to lose weight.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I'm not saying exercise isn't good. It's so good for you.
It's so good. Yeah, but I get on my Peloton, and it's like 200 calories. I'm busting it, and I can eat 200 calories in one handful of nuts. You know, it's like, well, forget it.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you're saying.
I know, and then my problem with exercise is I'm always so hungry afterwards, and it's like, well, I exercise, so I should be able to eat more. It doesn't work like that. So I focus a lot on nutrition. I'm not an exercise specialist. I am very much about nutrition and getting the right fuel in to help people lose weight.
I love it. And I'll put your website in the show notes. It's 7company.com. Is that what it is?
Yes. It's www.7company.com. So 7 is not spelled out. So my last name is Seven, so we just played with sevens. So
Yay.
7company.com. And of course, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. And on Instagram, it's 7 Company Weight Loss. And it's just 7 Company on Facebook. And got a little TikTok going.
Yay! And your website is great.
Just working on it.
Yeah, it looks really great.
You.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we have thank you. We've got lots of different services we can help. What I like to do with people is do a free consultation, just like a discovery call to find out what's going on with you so that I can help guide you into the right direction. Because until I don't like to do cookie cutter stuff. So one size does not fit all. We want to make sure that it's the right program for you. And that could be anywhere from a very structured eating plan to maybe food inflammation testing to weekly coaching. There's just a lot of different things we could do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
But I want it to be personalized,
Yes, that makes all the difference. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Well, and thank you, Julie. You are so welcome.
Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, you can go to my website and make any comments, suggestions, just share anything that's on your heart about any of the episodes. If you visit www.youneedapeptalk.com, you can find every episode and feel free to share. Your subscription to my podcast really matters, so if you can subscribe, share, go to Apple and rate my podcast. That really helps my listenership and gets my message out to as many people as possible. So I do appreciate that. And as always, enjoy each day, as each moment is a chance to create the life of your dreams. Take care.